The hidden plot, a wife's secret. While Raja enjoyed the honeymoon, his wife's behavior at times seemed unusual. There were moments when she appeared distracted, making calls secretly, texting when Raja wasn't looking. She often insisted on visiting certain places alone with him, away from the crowds. Raja, being a newlywed husband, didn't think much of it. He trusted her completely. He believed these were just normal things, the small quirks of a new marriage. But in reality, she was setting the stage for a crime that would later be described as one of the most shocking cases of betrayal in recent years. Unknown to Raja, his wife had connections outside the marriage, relationships, motives, and secrets that no one in his family knew about. The honeymoon was chosen carefully. Meghalaya, far away from their hometown, was an isolated and perfect spot. If something happened there, it would look like an accident. And so, while Raja was dreaming of a romantic holiday, his wife was dreaming of freedom. Freedom from him. Freedom to live the life she secretly desired. The day before the murder. The evening before the incident, witnesses later recalled that the couple looked perfectly normal. They were seen together, laughing, shopping, and enjoying dinner. Raja was his usual cheerful self, talking about the beauty of the place. He even spoke of how he wanted to bring his parents here someday. But his wife was calm. Too calm. For someone who was supposed to be enjoying her honeymoon, her eyes carried a strange coldness. It was as if she knew something that Raja did not, as if she was waiting for the right moment. When they returned to their hotel room that night, Raja had no idea that it would be the last night of his life. The murder night. Suspense begins. The exact sequence of events remains the subject of investigation and courtroom debates. But what is known is this: Raja was found dead under mysterious circumstances during the honeymoon. At first glance, it appeared like an accident. Some reports suggested a fall, others whispered about poisoning, and some believed he had been suffocated. What raised suspicion, however, was his wife's behavior after his death. Instead of being shocked, crying, or devastated like any newlywed widow would be, she remained strangely composed, almost as if she had expected it, almost as if she had planned it. The local authorities in Meghalaya were quick to notice these inconsistencies. They launched an investigation, and soon the layers of the case began to unfold. Layers that revealed a story of betrayal more chilling than anyone could have imagined. The post-mortem report. A twist in the tale. Initially, the wife told the police that Raja had suffered an accident, possibly a slip or sudden health issue. But the post-mortem report revealed something else. Traces suggested that this was not a natural death. In fact, there were signs of asphyxiation, pointing toward suffocation or strangling. Suddenly, the case changed from a tragic accident to a suspected murder. And the prime suspect was the very person who was supposed to love and protect him, his new bride. The investigation begins. The Meghalaya police wasted no time. They began piecing together Raja's last few days. Phone records, CCTV footage, hotel logs, and eyewitness accounts were gathered. Slowly, a pattern started to emerge. His wife had made multiple phone calls late at night, often stepping away from Raja to talk secretly. Some of these calls were traced back to a male contact in her hometown. Investigators also discovered messages, deleted but recoverable, that hinted at a relationship outside the marriage. This was the first major breakthrough. Raja's wife was not the innocent, loving partner she pretended to be. She was hiding a secret affair, and more importantly, she seemed to have a motive. Motive. Why would she kill her husband? The police began to reconstruct the possible motive. Raja was a decent man with no criminal past, no enemies, and no bad habits that could have led to his death. The only link left was his marriage. Investigators theorized that the wife never truly loved Raja. The marriage may have been arranged or agreed to under family pressure, but emotionally, she was tied to someone else. Killing Raja would free her from the marriage and allow her to live the life she actually wanted, with her lover. But there was more. Some financial documents also came to light. Raja had opened joint accounts, life insurance policies, and had made financial commitments shortly after marriage. His wife stood to benefit financially in case of his death. A deadly mix of love affair plus financial gain. Suddenly, the motive was not just suspicion. It was clear. The interrogation, cracks in her story. When the police formally interrogated her, she initially stuck to her claim. It was an accident. She said Raja slipped, or maybe he fainted. But under pressure, her statements kept changing. First, she said he slipped. Then, she said he complained of breathing issues. Later, she suggested he had heart problems. But Raja's medical history showed he had no such illness. The inconsistencies in her story only made her look guiltier. Police confronted her with phone records and messages. For the first time, she broke down, not in grief, but in fear. She realized the web of lies was closing around her. The lover in the shadows. As the investigation deepened, police discovered the identity of the man she had been in touch with. He was someone from her past, a lover she never truly let go of. Their messages revealed plans of being together after Raja was out of the way. Some messages even hinted at discussions of the murder itself, how it could be made to look like an accident during the honeymoon. This was the most chilling discovery. The crime was not spontaneous, not an act of sudden rage. It was premeditated. Weeks before the honeymoon, the wife and her lover had discussed how Raja could be eliminated. The reconstruction of the murder. Based on evidence, investigators reconstructed the probable sequence of the murder night. Raja and his wife returned to their hotel after sightseeing. They had dinner together. Raja was cheerful, completely unaware of what awaited him. Sometime in the night, when Raja was asleep, his wife attacked. Whether it was with a pillow, strangulation, or poison remains debated, but the evidence of suffocation was clear. By morning, Raja was dead. The wife pretended it was an accident, but her story soon fell apart. The tragedy was complete. A man who trusted his wife blindly had been killed in cold blood, far from home, in the very place he thought he was making beautiful memories. The family's reaction. When news of Raja's death reached his family in Madhya Pradesh, they were devastated. His parents, who had only recently celebrated his marriage, were now preparing for his funeral. Their grief turned to rage when the truth began to emerge. "How could she do this?" his father cried. "He loved her. He trusted her. He gave her everything." His family demanded justice. They wanted the harshest punishment possible for the woman who betrayed their son and for the lover who conspired with her. Media sensation. The honeymoon murder. As the case developed, the media quickly picked it up. The story had all the elements of a gripping crime thriller: a young couple, a honeymoon trip, betrayal, and a shocking murder. Newspapers called it the Meghalaya honeymoon murder. TV channels debated it endlessly, questioning the nature of modern relationships, the dangers of blind trust, and the greed for money. The public was horrified. Many asked, what kind of person can plan the death of their spouse during a honeymoon? The case became not just a legal matter, but also a social lesson. A reminder that betrayal often comes from the ones we least expect. The arrest. Finally, with mounting evidence, phone records, post-mortem reports, and witness statements, the police arrested Raja's wife. She was charged with murder and criminal conspiracy. The lover, too, was brought into the net. Though he wasn't physically present in Meghalaya, his involvement in the planning made him equally responsible. The honeymoon was now officially a crime scene, and Raja's wife was no longer a newlywed bride. She was now the prime accused in a cold-blooded murder. The arrest, finally, with mounting evidence, phone records, post-mortem reports, and witness statements, the police arrested Raja's wife. She was charged with murder and criminal conspiracy. The lover, too, was brought into the net. Though he wasn't physically present in Meghalaya, his involvement in the planning made him equally responsible. The honeymoon was now officially a crime scene, and Raja's wife was no longer a newlywed bride. She was now the prime accused in a cold-blooded murder. The trial begins, courtroom drama. When the trial began, the courtroom was packed with reporters, lawyers, and curious onlookers. This was not just another murder case. It was a story that had captured national attention. Everyone wanted to know how a newly married woman could kill her husband during their honeymoon. The prosecution painted a chilling picture. They presented the post-mortem report, which confirmed that Raja had not died naturally, but through asphyxiation. They produced phone records showing late-night conversations between the wife and her lover. They presented recovered messages, some of which suggested clear planning. One of the prosecution's most powerful arguments was the motive. They argued that the wife had never wanted this marriage. She was emotionally attached to her lover and financially motivated by Raja's assets and insurance policies. The honeymoon, they said, was not a trip of love, but an opportunity for murder. The defense, however, tried to weaken the case. They argued that Raja's death was accidental, that the evidence was circumstantial, and that the wife was being framed due to misunderstandings. They suggested that maybe Raja had health issues that were overlooked. But the prosecution had built their case too strongly. Step by step, they demolished every argument of the defense. Witnesses Speak hotel staff testified about the couple's behavior. One staff member told the court that Raja seemed affectionate, but his wife appeared distant and irritated. Another remembered how she often made phone calls late at night, leaving her husband alone. Friends of Raja testified that he had been healthy, with no medical problems. His family testified about his excitement before the honeymoon and how he trusted his wife completely. Piece by piece, the puzzle came together, and all the arrows pointed toward one person: the wife. The lover's role. The prosecution also brought the lover into the spotlight. Though he was miles away during the honeymoon, his digital footprint tied him to the conspiracy. His messages revealed emotional manipulation, promises of a future together, and encouragement for the crime. It was established that the murder was not just the act of one woman. It was the result of a criminal conspiracy between two people bound by greed and desire. The verdict: justice for Raja. After months of hearings, the court finally gave its judgment. The wife was found guilty of murder under Section 302 of the Indian Penal Code, and also of criminal conspiracy under Section 120B. Her lover, too, was convicted of conspiracy and abetment. The sentence was harsh but justified. The wife was sentenced to life imprisonment, and her lover received a similar fate. For the court, the message was clear. Marriage is a sacred bond, and betrayal of this kind, planned, cold-blooded murder, deserves no leniency. Raja's family wept when the verdict was announced. It was not a victory. Nothing could bring back their son. But at least justice had been served. At least the world now knew the truth. Psychological angle. Why did she do it? This case raised disturbing psychological questions. Why would a woman kill her husband, a man who loved and trusted her? Psychologists analyzing the case pointed to 3 factors. 1. Emotional attachment. Elsewhere. She never wanted the marriage. Her heart was still with her lover. For her, Raja was an obstacle. 2. Financial greed. The prospect of benefiting from Raja's wealth and insurance added fuel to the fire. 3. Lack of empathy. Her cold reaction after Raja's death showed an absence of guilt or remorse. This emotional detachment indicated a personality driven by selfish desire rather than human compassion. Experts described it as a classic case of betrayal within intimate relationships, where love is replaced by greed and loyalty by manipulation. Media and public reaction. The story became a national headline. News channels called it the honeymoon horror and the Meghalaya husband killer case. Talk shows debated the state of modern marriages, the risks of blind trust, and the psychology of crime in relationships. Social media was flooded with outrage. Many people sympathized with Raja and his grieving family, while others warned about the dangers of rushing into marriages without truly knowing the partner. For weeks, the case was discussed everywhere: cafes, offices, homes. It became not just a crime story,